again.
Alright, so by a show of hands, how many of you would like to have a lot more income in your lives? Yay! Thank you.
Yes,
and how
yes.
many of you would like 2013 to be the year you get more income than your last 7 years combined? Okay, so you are in the right place. So turn to the person next to you, give him a high five and say, you're in the right place. So my name is Peng Joon, and the topic of this presentation is how to teach anything and make 200,000 in one weekend. So by the end of this short presentation, you're going to learn a couple of things. But before I go into that, I want to take the time and acknowledge you guys for being here. I know that you have to take time out of your busy day today and listen to me speak. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here, and I will do everything in my power to make it well worth your time. So by the end of this short presentation, you'll learn a couple of things. Number one, you'll learn how to use a structure that world-class speakers use so that they can present without having a script or memorizing anything. You'll learn how to structure it in a way whereby it's not painful, where you can speak from your heart. You don't have to look at scripts or memorize painful hours before a certain presentation. And finally, you learn how to piece it all together so that it will make you a lot of money by the time you're done. How many of you would be interested in that? Yeah! Okay, awesome. So right now I'm going to do what an outtake is. Do you know, anyone know what an outtake is? No. So basically what an outtake is basically where I step out of this trainer mode and look at what I just did. Okay? So the first thing which I want to talk about when it comes to speaker training is this word. What does it say? Context. Okay, in speaking, this is always more powerful than content. Okay, and this is where a lot of speakers they got too caught up in content. It's always whereby they don't know the data, they don't have the slides, they feel they're not prepared because they don't have the data. And today I'm going to teach you how to set up this context whereby it doesn't matter if you're not familiar with a certain topic, as long as this context is strong, you can just easily fill out with any content you want. Think of it as this. Drawing is obviously not my cup of tea. Okay, so this is your context, this cup. And what you fill in is your content. And as long as your context is strong, your content will not be leaky. Okay? So they say that in speaking, the first 5 minutes is most important because that's when you're most nervous, and that is also when the audience is most skeptical of you. So as long as you nail down this first 5 minutes, the rest of it will be a breeze. So in this presentation, I will walk you through with your first 5 minutes. So if you guys remember, how did I open this presentation? What did I first say? Anyone remember?
Welcome.
Okay, so normal presenters will normally say, hi,
How many of you guys
my name is Peng Joon, and today's topic is how to make money online. So that is the standard. That is the standard. Okay, so in order to grab a person's attention, we always want to start off with this. Okay, and this is, it's called 2 enrolling questions. You guys remember I started off asking 2 questions, correct? Yes? Correct. So this format, I actually learned this from, after attending, I've been to many speaker trainings, and this is actually from T. Africa. He taught this in Trainer, so I'm going to teach you guys some basics. Okay. So the second thing which I did, how many of you remember what I said after that? I said, my name is Peng Joon, and today my presentation is about how to teach anything and make 200,000 in a weekend. Okay, so that's number 2. Name and topic. So the third thing, I gave you guys acknowledgement. I said that thank you for being here, and I will do everything in my power to make it well worth your time. Now remember, so number 3 is acknowledgement. Now this is important because you got to remember that the people that are sitting over there at that time, is skeptical of you and they are thinking, they're still deciding if it was a right decision for them to be there at that point in time. So you want to reassure them that they are in good hands. Okay, so that's number 3, acknowledge. Number 4, so after you acknowledge them, now this is really important, especially in copywriting as well. Who knows what this stands for?
What's in it for me?
Yes, what's in it for me? So I said by the end of this short presentation, you will learn 3 things. So this is when you want to tell them straight up, what are the 3 things that they're going to learn in the next 5 days, in the next 3 hours, in the next 1 hour. So I gave you a brief outline of what this was going to be about. Okay, so that was where we stopped. The next thing would be the most important part of this whole opener. And it is ETR. Anyone know what ETR is? ETR stands for earning the right. Right now, the people who are sitting in front of you will be thinking, okay, this is all great, but why should I listen to you? Okay, and this is the part you need to nail. Because if you don't get this right, your next 1 hour, your next 5 days, you're not going to have their respect and they're not going to listen to you. So earning the right comes in 2 forms. Okay? The first is the credibility, where spelling is credibility.
That's a bad word.
So credibility, okay? This can come in the form of statistics and experience. So if I were to talk about, if I want to earn the right in a speaker training, like what I'm doing now, I would say that, so in the last couple of years, I have been teaching and training, doing online trainings. At the same time, I've spoken in platforms where, and worked with the largest seminar organizers in the world, like Success Resources, and spoke in front of thousands of people in Wealth Expo, in Smart Congress, and many other platforms where there were about 1,500 to 2,000 people. At the same time, the seminar which I did last month in KL, we had 67 people and we charged $4,000 a ticket. So there was over 200,000 done in 1 weekend. So that's credibility. The next portion of earning the right is why you're doing this. Okay? Because also you may be able to prove to the audience that you are good at this. But the next thing is, if let's say you're speaking in the make money niche, the audience will be thinking, so if you're so good at this and your life is going so well, why would you want to do this? Why teach? For $4,000 a ticket, you're already making millions online. So there must be, you must tackle this problem that's always lingering in their minds. Why are you teaching? So why are you doing this? So if I were to tackle this, I would say, since growing up, public speaking was always a huge, huge fear for me. And what I didn't realize was that speaking and training in front of an audience is actually a learnable skill. When the whole time I always thought it was talent. And what pains me is when I see that if someone has a passion or something they want to really share, but is unable to do it. Because I've been there. I've been in that shoes just 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined to be able to go up to a group of people, to an audience, and just speak from the heart. And that is why I'm doing this today. So that I'm able to help people that were once in my shoes to be able to overcome that fear. So let's get started. So you can always start off with the main content of your training with let's get started. But basically this is the 5 steps to an opener in any topic. It could be teaching Forex, it could be talking about search engine optimization. You always use this standard opening. If you're talking about gardening, and you could use this standard opening. So this is the context. And the next thing, so what happens? Let's say if you're doing a 5-day training, right? What happens for the next 5 days? So I have this thing called the basic training format, which is basically 3 steps. Okay, let's go to here, basic training. Okay, the first is written exercise. Now remember, we are talking about the context. We are not going to, what I'm going over is so that this can be applied in any niche if you want to be a trainer. I know that many of you want to be trainers here. I want to speak in front of audiences. So it doesn't matter what your topic is as long as you get this context right. So the first thing which you can do is written exercise. So pertaining to this training, it could be, so take 3 minutes to write down these 5 steps that is applicable to your niche that follows this format for an opener. Okay, so I could say, well, it's going to take more than 3 minutes, so maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes to write down your opener that applies to your niche that uses and utilizes these steps. Okay, ready and go. So that takes up, 10, 15 minutes. After they're done with the written exercise, you can have a partner share. Now you'll notice that some of you went to TR Packers Millionaire F1 Intensive and he uses this format to the T. So after they've got it all written down, you can say, I'd like you to choose a partner. Who wants to be partner A? Partner A, raise your hand. Then partner B, raise your hand. So get into groups of 2 and just discuss with your partner what you learned. So number 1, this is great for them because it adds networking value to the seminar. You get to know people. And on top of that, there's output. It's not just writing down and it becomes monotonous or one-way dialogue. So it makes things more interesting for them as well. And finally, after doing a partner share, you do a class share, where you ask the audience who would like to share. And when you do that, what you do is just open your hands up like that and ask who would like to share. And there'll be someone who will raise their hand and share in front of the class about what they just learned. Now, so this is when you apply the same thing over and over again. You teach a certain topic, and then you do a written exercise, then you go to a partner share, then you do a class share. And just rinse and repeat for the rest of the session. It just follows this. And finally, so this is part 2. The first part is really the opener. And we'll do part 3 in another session since we are rushing for time. But part 3 is basically how you end this thing and you get them into either an upsell or a continuity program so that they can continue to learn more with you, and so you can make it a funnel which we'll cover in the next video. Okay, so thank you all very much.